I'm gonna let them know that Golemite is back on the scene. I'm gonna let them know that Golemite is my name and fucking up motherfuckers is my motherfucking game. Hey guys, welcome to The Grind. My name is Ark, and I have a pretty interesting build today. Not necessarily a league start, but this is definitely something pretty interesting, so let's take a look at this. So, got something a little different here today. As you can see, we are on the witch tree, and as the build says, this is a Goleminer. So I'll show you the league start version first. As you can see, we got up to 80,000 DPS. If you look in the skills here, you can see that we do not have Exsanguinate yet. This is an Exsanguinate mine build. There aren't a lot of things you can really link to Exsanguinate, so it made building this a little bit difficult, but I think this is potentially an option later down the line in the league that could be something, not only a pretty meme build, but also pretty strong as well. So we got Ethereal Knives close to the damage that we could get for the level 20 version of the skill, so it's definitely something interesting. Before we look at all the skills and jump into the later trees and the skills and everything, let's take a look at the tree. So you're going to take spell damage with this being affected by spells. Obviously, since this is a golem build, we're going to be running 9 golems. Get as much life as you can, the extra physical damage from the new node, Veteran Soldier. Get a little bit of the spell dodge and everything just to give yourself a little bit more tankiness. And as you can see, the crit chance is actually not too bad right now. We're up to 64% for the league start, and the league start we don't have really any gear on. So you can see we just have a tremor rod. We got to float some flasks on there as well. Nothing crazy. So the damage potentially will go up more as you put more on there. I just like to show minimally how much you are going to get for this. We also have 21 mines, as you can see. So for stacking on bosses, you're already looking at having close to, what, 1.7 million damage on bosses, and that's before Tremor Rod with the Blast Chain comes into effect as well. So now let's switch the tree over to later in League, grab a few more jewel slots, and you're still going to keep generally the same thing here, but get a little bit more out of this as well. A little bit more crit multi and everything else, and we haven't even put any jewels in yet, so this is where we're at, looking right around 3k life. Now let's jump into the skills. So with the skills, you're going to be looking at getting, obviously, brutality is going to be huge this league. I mean, the way that they have brutality set up now, there's probably a lot of new builds that you could really throw this on. Complete side note here, but even with the nerf to Bladefall Blade Blast, the changes to brutality are insane, and I think that those alone will make Bladefall Blade Blast just ridiculous still. Better than they were before. Now, obviously we're running all of the golems. We're going to run 9 golems. So let's see if we activate all of this. Since you have all those golem auras, it's going to increase so much of your, so let's turn up the active mines. Doesn't change this yet. We don't have power charges, so without power charges the damage actually does go down quite a bit, but we do have free. We can get those if you wanted to get those, and those will add in a lot more damage as well. So besides that, we threw in Flesh and Stone and Pride and Maim on that as well. But for Flesh and Stone, you're just going to be looking for that extra blind, a little bit more survivability with the build. This is something that I do plan on making this league. It should be rather interesting. I'm going to put the paste bin in the link below, and once we get an updated version of Path of Building, I'm going to throw this build back on there with the new POB just to show you guys with Exsanguinate what the changes to damage are, what the changes are throughout the whole build. We also tried out a block version of the build to see what would feel best, and it seems like this way will be the best way, but once we have the updated versions, we'll have a much better understanding of what we're actually looking at. One thing I didn't go over was the actual Ascendancy. We wanted to always shock. We're not going to be running skitter bots or anything like that. For later in League, obviously for leveling you will, but get the shock, golems of course, and then the Aegis. So just to give yourself a little bit more survivability with this being a very strange miner build. I can't wait to show you guys how it actually does later in the League. Thank you guys for watching the video. Drop a subscribe, drop a like on the video. My name is Ark, and thank you for joining me with the grind.